Welcome to my podcast. Hi, I'm Al, and this is Inside Sports from the driver's seat. Adventures of my past 20 plus years of being a professional motor coach operator dealing with professional sports teams here in the city of Philadelphia. Let's talk about it. All right. Good morning again, everyone. Welcome to with my co-host, Miss Annette Mckinney, out of Charleston, South Carolina. How are you, Annette?
I'm doing good.
Good. We tried this thing yesterday, but we had some tough technical difficulties, so we're going to try it again today. All right. First of all, this is, even though Christmas has passed, we're still in the Christmas season. So I want to say Merry Christmas to everyone. Hope everyone had a great Christmas. And we had our game on Christmas Day, the Philadelphia Eagles versus the New York Giants.
Right.
Now, we had some good things. We had some bad things. So we're going to talk about the good thing first, and that's the fact that we won the game.
Yeah.
I mean, and you asked for it last week. You said, well, where are the ugly wins?
Yeah. And we got one too.
Yeah, we definitely got one. And in my opinion, there was two things that happened that kept it from being a blowout game.
Mhm.
That was the kickoff in the second half that we fumbled that allowed them to go ahead and score.
Right.
And then the pick six when Goddard fell down. But other than that, it was really a very uneven game. How did you see that?
Yeah. Well, like I said, the first half, I thought that it was going to be a pretty easy game, laid back. I never thought we'd get down to the fourth quarter, but they switched quarterbacks on us, so that made a big difference on this side.
Yeah. I mean, we actually we outplayed them tremendously, except for the mistakes and the blunders that we had, because Jalen Hurt had 301 passing yards, and we had 170 rushing yards. So I think we had a total of 465 yards. So we really played a game that we hadn't played in about 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And just got to clean up those mistakes. And, of course, we've been saying that every game, haven't we? So,
Even though we got the win and everything like that, I still, and I'm glad that we got the win, even though it was ugly, but I still don't like the fact that we struggled with the Giants. It's not like we got the ugly win with a high, a winning team. We got it with a losing team. So that's kind of like, you got to look at it a lot of different ways here,
Yeah, and especially being, again, that the Giants are a division rivalry, so they know us well. We know them well.
Mhm.
But still, they are considered to be a very bad team. And we struggle with them, I would say, in the second half. The first half was fine. We played well, both defense and offense, but then coming out with a blunder in the second half, and then for some reason, it seemed like the defense fell off a little bit as well as the offense. And especially once they put Tyrod in there, it was like, well, we never seen this guy before. What do we do?
Yeah. Right. And and he's a runner, but they should do their homework and know who the backup quarterback is when coming in to know what to expect. But I don't know, for some reason it seems like we do a lot of stuff that works in the first half, or we do a lot of things that work in the second half. They do not keep a solid game going. Whatever works, they don't stick with it. For some reason, in the middle of the game, whether it be the offensive or defense coordinators, they switch up, the plays totally, and everybody seems lost out there when they do it. So it's like, don't you guys practice this stuff on the field?
Yeah. And, being that you're saying that, another thing that's been going on this week is things about what's going on within the locker room. Well, we saw a lot of that on the sideline yesterday, Sunday, with the arguing going on between the coaches and the players. And they showed a clip yesterday of A.J. Brown staring Serena down, I mean, like crazy. I mean, he had some things in his eyes looking at that coach, you know. So
Mhm.
with everybody been talking this week, you know, since we didn't do it yesterday, it gave me a lot of more time to listen to a lot of the things.
Mhm.
And there's a lot going on between the players and the head coach.
Oh yeah.
You know, Jason Kelsey this morning tried to downplay it a lot, but you know, we can clearly see there's something going on, and nobody
Mhm.
seems to know what it is. You know.
Yeah. I don't think they want to put it out there, because the fans are already concerned about how the season's going. So I think they got to kind of like keep that in-house. But like I
Mm-hmm.
said, you can't keep it off the field because it shows the emotions are all over on the field. I just hope that it's more of a maybe a coaching thing versus a player against player type thing. So
Right.
that's the
Right.
part that I'm concerned about because the two people on the field don't really get along or not really vibing together. That can cause us to lose games and.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I just hope that it's something that the coach can clean up or has cleaned up.
Mm-hmm. Well, in the beginning, I thought that it was something, you know, player, especially with AJ and Jalen. I thought maybe it was
Hmm.
something there, but there was one report came out yesterday that, you know, remember when AJ said, you know, if I don't have anything good to say, I don't want to say anything. But
Right.
as they talked about that more, they said that was more or less about how he felt about what the coaches was doing as far as what the plays that they was running, along with, you know, everybody's mistakes. So that
Yeah.
gave me the impression that it wasn't a player to player thing, but
Yeah.
more or
Well,
less,
that's
you know,
good to
what the
know.
coaching system is doing, you know.
Hmm.
And so
Hmm.
that kind of tells us that, you know, players are actually, you know, trying to stick together, you know.
Yeah. I even seen Devontae Smith his interview, and he was basically saying, yeah, we got 11 wins, but he wasn't happy because
Mm-hmm.
like he's saying that they're not playing to the standard they know they can play to. So even though you got the wins and all that, the wins don't look good. The record looks good when you look at it, but there's so much criticism for the Eagles because on paper we should be playing way better than what we're playing.
Right, right. And another point that he was making is that, you know, we got 2 weeks left
Yeah.
and we got to get it together. And I think that's where a lot of their frustration, especially him, he was saying, hey, 2 weeks left and we still playing like this. You
Yeah.
know, they
Hmm.
don't foresee themselves, you know, going deep because of the way they're playing. So hopefully they'll get it together and whatever's going on between the coaches and the players, they can hash this thing out because Arizona, like you said, Arizona got Murray there. I mean, I think, they got 3 or 4 wins, but
Yeah.
coming
Hmm.
in here, they could have their fourth or fifth win, you know?
Well, the thing about it is we can criticize ourselves, and that's good because the players want to be better and they feel they should be playing at
Mm-hmm.
a higher level versus a bunch of guys getting millions of dollars and saying, "Hey, we're doing this." So I'm glad they have
Right.
that mindset. But one thing that's a positive, but is that a lot of teams are not playing well right now. And
Mm-hmm.
but the Eagles get criticized so much because the Eagles, just one of those teams everybody loves to hate. But when you look
Yeah,
at it,
yeah.
look how Kansas City is playing, and even though that's not us, but a lot of teams, are not really playing up to the expectations this year, especially towards the end of the year. So we're not alone in this, but like we're only concerned about us going. But
Right,
there are
right.
other teams out there that are just not playing their best ball right now.
Mm-hmm. You know, since you said that, that brought to mind, like, I've been around this game like 24 years now, up close, working
Hmm.
with the Eagles. And I've seen the difference in the National Football League from back then to now. Take, for
Hmm.
instance, training camp. When Andy Reid's here, he was having 2-a-days and you had pads on.
Right.
Nowadays, they don't do that. The players, let's say they play on a Sunday. They got Monday off. Well, no, they have Monday come in for injury training or film
Hmm.
watching, things of that nature. And they normally have Tuesday off.
Yeah.
And then they'll come in on a Wednesday to be prepared for the next week.
Hmm.
Well, they don't put pads on. They don't do hitting. And especially with our defense, the way we've been playing recently, and not only us, like you said, a lot of teams, they don't tackle well because they don't
Right.
practice it. So
Hmm.
it's a lot going on with the changes in the National Football League that I think is producing football that's nowhere as close as the way it was back in the day.
Right. Right.
So, but hopefully, they can put something together, because it would be bad to do a one and done after, having such a elite season last year, and they're not playing anywhere close to it. But, every year is different, just like every day is different. So we can't use that as an excuse where they played so well last year.
Well, we still can. I don't remember the exact record last year, because they only had 16 games last year. Now we have 17 weeks or 18 weeks this week versus 17 weeks last year. They upped another week on it. But at the best, we're going to go. We can go 13-4, which is not a bad record at all. Like I said, it's not really the record right now. We're looking at the playing and how we're winning, because you can get through some of these regular season games with two players running to each other and getting a turnover, and you can pick it up towards the end, luckily. But when you start getting to January and start to the playoffs, those mistakes cannot happen. So, because we're going out the window. Everybody's record's out the window January 13th. So it's like I said, it'd be nice to host a home game, and we have to win the division for that to happen. So we got to win Sunday and got to turn around and play again. The only way we wouldn't have to win out is if I think if the Cowboys lose Sunday against the Lions, and then we have some wiggle room then. But if they win, we have to win out, because our record has to be better than theirs. If we tie record, then we win the tiebreaker. So it's in their hands to get the division, and that will give us hosting a home game at least,
Okay. Most of that is right. The only thing there is that, because they were talking about that this morning, the Cowboys need to beat the Lions in order for us to have be able to get that second seed. We have to win out.
I'm talking about the division right now. I'm not talking about the second seed.
Right. Okay.
I know what you're saying. Yeah, to get the second seed, that would be nice. See, and that's kind of like, what do you want to do? We do want the second seed, but when I was looking at it, looking at who you might play hypothetically, sometimes it's kind of like better to be that fifth seed or something, because you're playing a lower seed.
Right.
So when you look at it, but who do you really want to play? But then you don't want to say, well, we want to play the easiest team, because there's no easy team to say.
Yeah.
So,
at this point,
Yeah, so getting the second seed, but even there's an option to getting the number one seed.
Yes, I was about to say that. Absolutely.
They're all of a sudden, go haywire and they don't win. So there's a lot going on these last two games that are important to us. And we can get the number two seed. Yeah, if Detroit loses, and but that's based on that game. And then
I think. Let's see, you froze up for whatever reason, but I'm going to keep on talking. I'm sure you'll come back. In order for us to get the number one seed, naturally, we got to win both of our games.
Right.
Okay. San Francisco has to lose one of these two games.
Right.
And then I think Dallas would have to lose one of these two games, and then we would have the number one seed.
Well, right now, aren't we a game ahead of Dallas?
Yeah, we are. But if, like I say, when it comes to the division, we're good with that. We're a game ahead.
Right.
But when it comes to the seeding, because I think maybe Dallas have a better conference record than we, so they would have to lose one. We would have to win our two and have San Francisco to lose one of theirs.
Okay, you talking about for the number one seed, or?
Yeah, for the number one seed.
Okay.
For the number one seed.
Because I know that, before they were saying that the Eagles and the Cowboys in a tie at the end of the season, the record, we would win that tiebreaker. So we would win this. We would win the division. But like you're saying, looking at the number one seed, and I'm not even saying that can't happen. And because the 49ers did not look good the other day at all against.
Right.
I mean, not at all.
I think that was the worst that Purdy has looked the whole year,
Yeah. And their defense didn't do anything. So who's to say that they get out there? Yeah, supposedly they have an easy schedule, but as we know, these spoiler teams are coming in and they are actually winning against these higher level teams. So who's to say that they won't just collapse these last two games?
Right,
And same
right.
thing with Dallas. So anything can happen. And I think that all this season gets washed away if the Eagles wins that NFC championship and heads to the Super Bowl. Everything that's negative say, well, they came back and they
Mm-hmm.
put it together. That's how
Right.
you overcome all this negative stuff that's happening.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think San Francisco has Washington this weekend.
Okay.
And even as bad as Washington is, like I said, there's always a possibility.
And
Uh,
how bad is Purdy actually banged up from that last game?
yeah,
Who knows?
exactly,
And do you
exactly.
want to risk your quarterback? I mean, I know they want the number one seed, so they're going to play him if he's not really that bad. But you got
Mm,
a lot that you're risking when you just got beat up by a team really bad, and you got to turn
yeah,
around and fix it just like that. So, who
yeah,
knows?
that's a possibility. They'll keep him out of there this week.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see though.
Yeah.
But now let's get back to the Eagles a little bit. I had mentioned it when we tried to do it yesterday, but Jalen Hurt made some history this week by the tush push. That's where he gets most of his rushing touchdown, and
Mm-hmm.
he got 15. That was his 15th rushing touchdown, so that was history for him.
Right.
And he played some good football Sunday, and then he made a few bonehead decisions.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
especially the one where he ran to the right and he should have ran out of bounds, but yet he cut it back inside. So how do you see his play this Sunday?
Um, this Sunday coming up or the
No,
previous
this
game?
past Sunday. Yeah, the
Oh,
Giants game.
okay.
How
Yeah.
did you see his
Christmas
play?
Day. Okay. Well, that move that you were talking about that he went out of he went to the sideline, did not go out of bounds. First of all, to be a leader and to be paid as much as he's getting paid as a starting quarterback, that is a move that you have to know. Okay, what's the clock look like? Because that clock, we got bailed out of that
Mm-hmm.
particular, down that he had, because had not they
Yeah.
called that penalty on New York, that game goes a whole different way. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to realize, I'm thinking to myself, okay, he's going to run out of bounds. You stay in bounds and the clock's running. We have no time. We
Yeah.
got bailed out of that, and everybody saying that was a bad call, but hey, we got it and we needed it and he's like, oh yeah, it's on me. That is a Super Bowl. You lose a Super Bowl by not going out of bounds and saving that clock. That's something that he should know. I see a lot of receivers on some teams like Amari Cooper, for example. They show highlights. He knows just how to tiptoe on that, so you don't touch that. So your feet is in bounds. A lot of receivers, you see them
Right. Right.
tiptoe. They practice that. Jalen Hurts, you're a number one quarterback. You should know when you make that move. Okay, I gotta go out of bounds. You
Mm-hmm.
stayed in bounds, and we got bailed out. That was luck right there. So that was
Yeah.
to me. I think that some of the things that he does, he deserves some of the criticism, even though it's
Mm-hmm.
constructive criticism, because you're getting paid over $200 million, and you have to know when you go into that game what you're going to do and how you're going to do it, and you have to look at the clock. He doesn't see the field a lot. A lot of people are open and
Mm-hmm.
not looking around. So he deserves some of this constructive criticism he's getting, because he's not
Right.
really, he's getting paid to be up here and he's like playing down here
Mm-hmm.
a little bit. So, you
Yeah,
know,
that's what you call situation football, and
yeah.
you have to know the situation and know what to do in that situation.
Hmm.
Now, perfect
Hmm.
example, I think DeAndre Swift, he ran the ball and he just slid down to
Right.
keep from
Yeah.
going out of bounds. So
Hmm.
that's good situation football, good football IQ. Not saying that he doesn't have it, but sometimes you out there and your mind gets to going and you make the wrong decision. But like you said, you getting paid what you getting paid, and you're the leader of this team. You need
Yeah.
to have your mind sharp to know when to do, what not to do.
Now, I understand that, you have, he had control over that play though. Sometimes, when he's back there and your O line is not really able to hold off, the defensive players, they're coming after you. You might have to make a hasty decision with the ball,
Mm-hmm.
but when you are in control of the ball and you are in control of going out of bounds, that's so easy. Those are small mistakes that he has to know. It's like you're not a rookie anymore and you're not getting paid as
Right.
such. So there are some situations like, it's going to be on. You got to make a split decision. That one, he had plenty of time to make the decision. And he knew that when he got up. So when we got the call, we was
Mm-hmm.
like, wow, we dodged that bullet, and he knew it.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
if that's
Absolutely.
if that's the Super Bowl, and that causes us to lose the game because we don't have any time to not even kick a field goal. That is, how
That's on that quarterback.
horrifying that would
Yeah.
be, because you did not go out of bounds, and then there's no time to put Jake in a Super Bowl. You would win it with the 3 points. So
Mm-hmm.
he's got to take this this criticism and know that I got to do better. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now, on the other hand, he had a play that was probably his best play all year. And
hmm
that was when he threw the ball to A.J. Brown. I guess he rolled right just a little and stepped up.
hmm
And he put enough on it for the ball to go over the hand of the defender
right.
and get it to AJ, and I think AJ even got another 3 or 4 yards out of that.
hmm
But that was probably one of Jalen Hurts' best plays of the whole year. I mean, it was a dynamite play.
Yeah, and he gets credit for that. That was a good play. And but see, I'm not so kind as you. That was a good play, but I was seeing a lot of
Hmm.
plays that got batted away that could have easily been intercepted as well.
Right.
So he's
Hmm.
got to work on that. So we'll praise him when he does whatever. But I mean, I want to see a clean game. 90%
Right.
of a
Right.
clean game. You're not gonna get 100% out of any team, but he gets praised for some of those things. But in my book, I'm more hard on him because I know he can play better than that. He did last year.
Right. Okay. Let me ask you this: that interception at pick six. Whose fault was that in your as a fan watching it? Whose fault was that?
I'm thinking the coach, something was not right with the calling. You mean when the two bumped into each other at the
No, no,
kickoff?
no, 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 no. The when Jalen threw the pick six.
Okay. I know. I'm not sure if I really put it on him or not. It was I'm kind of like, in between. If it's his fault, not
Mm-hmm.
really looking how he's throwing the ball. Because like I said, some of his passes I didn't like. Some of his
Right,
passes
right.
were very skeptical. They could have went either way.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure on that one. This seems like this, miscommunication on both ends or something like that. So I don't know if I
Mm-hmm.
would put it all on Hurts, but
Yeah, I think
he is
one
the
of the
one with the
main
ball in
things
his hand.
there. I mean, he had a different option they were showing, but what really happened was Goddard fell down. If he had
Yeah,
stayed
yeah,
up, the
yeah.
ball would have been right in his hand. But he fell down, but they were saying too that the position that defender was in, I think they said he had an opening on the other side that he didn't see. Like you said,
hmm
doesn't see the field completely. So
Right.
to me, it was kind of 50-50. If he would have saw the other option he had,
hmm
he could have went that way. But
Yeah.
Goddard was
He
open,
actually
but he
had some.
just slipped down.
He actually had some players be like, they try to let him know he's open, but he's not looking there.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm seeing a
yeah.
lot of players like, like put their hand up, I got it. They know if you give it to them, they're looking for it, and they're gonna get it. But he's so busy, his target is what it is, and he doesn't do anything else. And yeah, Goddard
Mm.
slipping. Goddard doesn't slip. I'm sure he catches that ball.
Yeah,
So.
yeah,
But then we talk about the other interception, on return. That looked terrible. You know.
yeah, yeah.
It
I
looks so
mean,
they look so unorganized on the field, and I think that is the problem. If we were winning and we were winning at a level where we look good, we are
hmm,
winning and losing, and both times we look bad on winning
yeah,
and losing side, because that looked like, who bumps into each other. I mean, it was like, I don't know who does that when you're trying to
yeah.
win,
It's
when you're trying to get the number one seed.
yeah. It's very rarely seen to happen like that. And when you have a team that is not playing well, and then you talk about all the disgruntlement in the locker room, those
Mhm.
kind of things just pops up, and it could have been a mere accident, but to us fan, it looked like a team that is totally disorganized.
Right. And that was not the first time. That was the first time we bumped into each other on a return. But there was a couple of games back where two players bumped into each other the same type of way.
Hmm.
It's like they keep running that play. It's like, what are you guys practicing this? Because that should never happen. And plus, I don't know why, our player was even going towards a Boston Scott. So
Right.
there's a lot of questions to be asked on that. Are they practicing that? And what do they expect to get out of that? So
Hmm.
I'm just saying that now, we're regular season. At least we clinched the playoffs. That's all good. But those type of mistakes are going to have you one and done.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and that's the thing about the playoff. You make a mistake, you lose, you go home. Regular
Mm-hmm.
season, you have the opportunity to rectify it and
Right.
go to the next game. But there's no next game in the playoffs, so they
What
got
are
a
you
lot
hearing?
they got to work on.
What are you hearing about Slay and Maddox? Maddox. I know we opened Maddox. He's practicing now, but what do you hear about him
Hmm.
coming back and stuff?
Well, he was supposed to have been playing this past weekend, but I guess the game time decision
Okay.
said no. So
Okay.
he should be on track to return this week.
Sunday. Okay.
And Slade still has a little nagging injury, but I think he'll be okay. Today is Wednesday, so they all should be in practice today. So by the end of the day, we'll know who practiced and who did not practice because they put that out every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and then
Mm-hmm.
I think if you don't, you cannot practice today, and you can practice Thursday and Friday. But if you don't practice Wednesday and Thursday, more than likely you're not going to practice Friday. So by
Yeah.
Friday, we'll know who is in there and who is out of there, and so hopefully we can be back to full strength.
Well, I know
Um,
a few games ago, Cox didn't practice all week, but he played. I don't know. I can't
yeah,
remember what game it was, but he's a
a
seasoned veteran.
veteran, long time veteran. Yeah, yeah.
So those
He'll
ones,
get
those
he'll get a
exceptions
little
to the
more
rule.
leeway.
Yeah. Right.
So, what do you think about Shaq Leonard's play this past
That
weekend?
was the best. No, that's the best I've seen him play. He's only been there a few weeks, but
Right,
he
right.
really showed. I think he got more practice with the team and learning,
Mm-hmm.
more plays and stuff like that. But he definitely was impressive on Monday.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I think he led
definitely.
the team in tackles this past weekend.
Hmm.
And one of the statements that he put out is that, I guess where he came from, everybody had counted him out. And so he said he's out there to
Hmm.
prove that he still got it, he can play. So he
Yeah,
brings that. That's going to help us tremendously.
right. For some odd reason, I feel like even though the Eagles, we've had some nail biters and some ugly wins and stuff. For some reason, I'm thinking that we're going to make it to the Super Bowl, and all this is
Mm-hmm.
going to be turned around because all the odds are against us. The commentators are saying, yeah, they won, but you know what? So all the negativity, and I really think the Eagles are going, if they put all that energy together and shut the naysayers down and make it to the Super Bowl, like I said, this
Mm-hmm.
season goes away. All these ugly
Yeah.
games go away because out of all that and all these other teams they hold so high up here, like the Cowboys always and the 49ers, Eagles wins that
Mm-hmm.
the NFC, championship and heads to the Super Bowl. We like to win it, but just getting there
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
year. Now, last year we needed to win it. This year, getting there, they don't even have us getting there, anymore. So,
Right.
it's up to them how bad they want it. They are good on paper. They're better than they played against the 49ers because the 49ers that we played last year were the same 49ers that they beat us this year.
Mm-hmm.
So
Absolutely. Yep.
they can do it if they can leave all that stuff in the locker room and get on that field and just focus. And
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be a lot of pep talking from the coach to get it where it needs to go.
Yeah. Speaking of that, another thing is, last year we weren't expected to do anything. We
Hmm.
had a great season. We had the weakest schedule to play.
Yeah.
We made it to the Super Bowl. We didn't win it. Okay, coming up this year, they're saying that we have one of the hardest
Yeah.
schedule,
Yeah.
and we
Hmm.
are still in position to make some noise. So to me, that tells
Right.
that we do have a good team
Hmm.
to have the hardest schedule and
Right. And that's
still
true.
be in the spot that we was in last year at this point, able to make it to the playoffs. So,
Yeah,
uh,
that's true. We did that in that 5 game streak that we had. I mean, we had all the heavy hitters on during that time period,
mm-hmm.
and we still walked away with some wins out of there. So,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, so but I think we're just hard on the team because we know that they can play better. I mean, like I said, the record is good. We're one of the top,
Mm-hmm.
in the top five of the record.
Top
We're
three.
tied with
Yep.
some people with the record. So
Yeah.
we're number two as far as our record because I think Baltimore's number 1, and we had a three-way tie or a two-way
Mm-hmm.
tie with the second. So we are doing good on paper, but like I said, we don't look good on the field. And I
Right,
think that the
right.
players know that they don't, and that's one good thing. The players know they don't look good on the field. They go back and watch it. They know that they got a lot of cleaning up to do even with the record, like Devontae Smith said, it's good, but we're not satisfied with that. I like to hear that because that lets me know
Yeah,
that
yeah.
they get out there and their mindset can get on track with what they're thinking and saying in the interviews. Then we're going to have a dangerous team when we get out there on the playoffs because they know they can do better.
Absolutely, absolutely. One of the things after the game ended Sunday, one of the things that a lot of people were saying, when I say people, I mean the commentators and stuff, they were saying, look at this team. They just won a game, but they look like they lost because everybody was dissatisfied about how the product that they put on the field. Yeah, we won, but they weren't happy. And you didn't see anybody on the sideline jumping for joy or
Yep.
anything. They
Yep.
just slowly walked off.
Because we expected that win on the fourth quarter to be like a blowout type situation. It's
Yeah,
winning
yeah.
and getting down. And like I said, I don't know what we discussed yesterday. That last play could have ended up the same way it ended up in Seattle. Taylor threw that ball in the end zone. Had that guy caught the ball, game is over.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and that was the same situation, a Hail Mary situation with the Seahawks game. And that would have been the talk of the town. They got burned on the same play 2 games in a row. Not to mention there have been 4 losses in a row. So that, even though it was ugly, it was important to shut them down a little bit.
Yeah. Now and that last play, again, to me, that was coaching too, because you got you know who's on the other side, who's running that pattern, and you got Blankenship on this guy
Yeah.
the guy's already fast. Blankenship
hmm
is good, but he's not fast. He didn't
No.
have any help back there, so to me, that was purely a coaching mistake there.
And the coaches, you knew that, and you also knew that he was going deep because of time. They didn't have the time to run.
Hmm.
So everybody, you need all your heavy hitters in the back. You know that. Like you said, the coaching definitely, let that one go because Blankenship was definitely not going to outrun that guy. So
Yeah, again, that was situation of football, and that
hmm
coaches he didn't pay attention to the situation. You never leave a guy, especially that doesn't have that speed, back
right.
there on a speed receiver with the
hmm
seconds ticking off, and you know they got to go long in order to get
Yeah.
anything done. So
hmm
truly, that was a coaching situation there.
Right. And that's the thing about it. And that's what I think. Well, when Slay and Maddox both come back together, and Maddox has been out a while, but when he's on the field, he's pretty good. So I think
Hmm.
everybody is about to come together because, the end of the season's coming. We're getting these players healthy back, and that's going to help us. Some teams are getting beat up, so they got to go in hurt. So we're getting some of our
Yeah.
good players back and everything. And I think it's going to make a difference with Maddox, in his position when he comes back. That's going to help, in the deep
Hmm.
end. So.
Yeah, yeah. Well, all I know, they got to pull it together. They only
mhm.
got 2 games to do it before the new season starts. And if you make a mistake in the new season, then you're going fishing early.
Yeah, and that's and one good thing about it is that's anybody. Come the first game, no matter who we play, this is it. Anybody's gonna have a bad day. Just like I'm sure other teams are thinking, hey, when the playoffs come, we're one and done. You may have the best record. Baltimore may have the best record out the whole year, like we did last year. We had the best record the entire season. We
Hmm.
didn't win the Super Bowl, so that means nothing if you don't go and make it. So only
Absolutely,
2 teams are
absolutely,
going. Out of 32, 30 teams will be on the couch in January. So,
absolutely, absolutely. All right, we're at our 33 minutes mark, and
okay.
again, we have the Cardinals coming in this weekend, which has the old defenses coach. And now, see, that may be I'm not going to say a problem, but the Eagles have to pay close attention
hmm
because this guy ran the defense last year.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
knows the plays that we're running.
hmm
So
hmm
they got to account for that and not let this team that's only won 3 games come in here and give them a problem like the Giants did last year.
Well, another thing with that game coming in, well, Ertz is no longer there. He's free agent
Right,
still.
right.
But Kyler Murray is back, and everybody's oh Murray is he's like he's a runner. Okay, he can
Mm-hmm.
run. So our defense, you can't run our defense around the field all day long, and he can run and he's fast. So they have nothing to lose. All they can come in and just be a spoiler. That's all they can do, and they would love to do
Right.
that. And Gannon would love to come in and do that and show us that hey, we can beat y'all. So
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, thanks again for a great show. And we do it again Monday after a victory over the Arizona Cardinals.
Well,
So,
I'm actually going to be at that game Sunday.
okay,
I'm in
okay,
town
all right.
tomorrow. I'll be in town
Okay,
tomorrow.
good,
So
good.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I'll see you and your husband there, and I'm sure we'll be over at Anthony having a few drinks there.
Yeah.
So, all right, I appreciate it so much. This has been Al from Inside Sports from the driver's seat. My co-host, Annette McKinney out of Charleston, South Carolina. Thank everyone for listening, and have a wonderful, wonderful new year.